Well, hello there. Welcome to a new reading vlog. I'm so excited for this one because today we're going to be reading some Christian thrillers. Who knew that was a thing? Not me. Not this girl. I did not know until recently. But I'm excited because one in particular, Kaitlin from Pride and Paperback, just read it and said that she absolutely loved it. She gave it 5 stars. She said that it made her think so deeply, and I'm excited for that one, which will come next, I think. I also received an early reader, what's it called? An advanced reader copy on my Kindle through NetGalley of The Girls in the Garden by Jessica R. Patch. I've never read a Jessica Patch book, but this one looks really beautiful. I am a little bit nervous about this one, not gonna lie, because it seems like it could be pretty dark. We're just trying things out today, okay? I'm actually about 25% of the way through this one already, and I am really liking it. I am. There has been one scene in particular that is just weird. Let me just tell you what this is about, okay? And then you might understand. Basically, we're following a serial killer. That's why I'm nervous, okay? This is why I'm nervous. It's set in the Outer Banks, which I like. It's on a remote island. A serial killer collects his prized specimen. Yikes. And to catch this serial killer, an FBI agent has to confront his own sordid past, basically. The FBI agent's name is Tiberius Granger, which kind of love that name. It seems like the serial killer knows Ty or is taunting him and knows his past because of who he's targeted, and it's really personal to Tiberius. Okay? I didn't think I was like an FBI or detective is different in my mind, but like FBI, CSI, like all those things, I didn't know that I was into that, but this book is doing a really good job of it. I'm also really loving the faith content. That was something I was really nervous about with this book in particular, just because I was like, is this going to be way too dark for me? You know, to following a serial killer, but we're not in the serial killer's mind, if that makes sense. So it does get the point of view from a girl who's in the situation with the serial killer. And then you're also getting the perspective of a few people, like the FBI agents and someone else that I won't spoil because I feel like maybe it is a spoiler. This book, it didn't say that it was in a series or anything, but this author has 2 other books that I guess you don't have to read them, but there were a couple of mentions of cases and things that I think were in the previous 2 books. Not that you have to know, and I don't think it spoils anything, but it felt like the author expected you to know what she was talking about, and I was like, wait, what? Just relationships and certain things, and she does a good job of explaining the relationships and stuff. But anyways, I feel like that's something I wish I knew going into it, just because I typically like to read books in order. But this one is coming out in April. April 23rd is the publication date, so this book might be out by the time this vlog gets to you. But I am really excited to continue reading. I'm into it. I really like following Tiberius. I feel like he's gonna have a really good character arc and character growth, specifically in like healing of his past and forgiving. He escaped such a dark thing. I really love the faith conversations because Tiberius, like I said, doesn't believe in God, but then there's another character that's involved that came out of the same situation as him, and she does believe in the one true God. And she's like talking about how the cult that they were in twisted God's word to be something that it wasn't, but they did it in the name of Yahweh, but it wasn't Yahweh, you know. And she has found the one true God, and I am really, really liking those conversations. So we're just on this journey together. I think out of every vlog so far of like finding Christian fiction in different genres, I think I'm most nervous about this one, just because thrillers typically are a little bit darker. They have, you know, grittier themes, and I was specifically really nervous about this book. But honestly, I don't feel like it's dark. Like, it's not written in a dark way, if I'm making sense. Even through the beginning parts, I feel like that thread of hope. I'm actually really, really feeling this book. So, I'm feeling really conflicted about this book because on one hand, I'm really enjoying it, but on the other hand, maybe I should put this down just because my mentals have been a little bit fragile. Let's say that. I've alluded to this a lot, but I think just I've been feeling heavy. I've been feeling a lot of grief with this church stuff going on, and I feel like I'm just really heavy, and this book is not the best at allowing me to not feel heavy. Like, I don't think it's helping me, if that makes sense. I may come back to it at a different time because I am enjoying it, but I think I just need to set it down. I've been praying about it and I just feel like it's not the best for me to do. So that's a bummer. I think that people will really enjoy this. I was really liking the faith content. I am really liking it and I am excited to see where it goes. But for me, it just needs to be set down. Okay, I guess that's that. So today, I am so excited because I get to see my bestie Kaitlin and have dinner. We're gonna go to Half Price Books, and I thought that it would be really fun to take you along. So that's what I'm gonna do. I don't plan to buy anything. You're my accountability. Because as I mentioned before, I really want to read what I have and not just buy, you know? So unless they have like a book that I've been wanting to buy that I've read and want to add to my library, I think I'm gonna be really selective today. But I'm really excited to see Kaitlin and hang out with her. I think we're gonna go to Charleston's, which is a delicious restaurant here in Oklahoma City. I don't know if other states have Charleston's. I think Texas does, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. But on my way there, it takes about 30-ish minutes to get to where we're going, so I have a good little chunk of time to listen to an audiobook. So I think I'm gonna start Fear Has a Name by Christian Mapes. This is one actually that Kaitlin recommended to me. She was like raving about it. She's like, this book is making me think so much. It's like such a good book. It's creepy, but it's very good spiritual / faith themes in it that was making her really think deeply. So I'm very excited for this one. I did start just the little prologue, I think, and oh my, that scene at the very beginning, I was like, whoa, but I'm excited. Hopefully I love it just as much as Kaitlin does, and I'm sure I will because we usually like the same books. So, by the way, if you aren't following her, definitely go give her a follow. She is just the best, and she and I have really pretty similar reading taste, so especially in mysteries. If you are interested in that, definitely go find her. Let's go have fun at the bookstore and at dinner. Interesting, but I wanted to come up on here. I wanted to come here and let you know that I am really enjoying Fear Has a Name. And I realized that I never gave you an actual synopsis of what was going on. I think I'm about 50% or maybe a little bit under that, but this book is making me think so much. Legitimately, I never knew that a thriller could make me think this deeply about things, about God. And the way he sees things. So this is book number 1 in the Crittenden files, I think is what the series is called. And so I'm assuming that there's more than just this book in this series, but this is the first one. And it's following a Jack Crittenden, who is an investigative reporter or journalist. He has a wife, her name is Pamela, and 2 kids. And the very first scene, okay, so this is not a spoiler, very first scene of the book is someone trying to break into their home. Obviously, Pamela is terrified. She has her 2 kids in the house. They get out, but Jack is not there. And so they think that it's like a random thing, that he was like drugged out or something, but Pamela's not too convinced because just the way it happened. And then it becomes very clear that this person who tried to break in knows Pamela and is like stalking her and the family. I don't know if I've ever read a book other than like This Present Darkness that has this good of faith content in it. The way it's talking about the Lord through all this, Pamela is terrified. And so is Jack. They're like internal thoughts of bringing them to the Lord, or like casting your burdens on him. And it's not done cheesy. It's very, very realistic. God, I'm terrified. Why can't I feel not terrified? Or, you know, belief in the Lord and that he protects you. I just think the faith content is just like outstanding for a thriller. Like, wow. But I wanted to show you what I got at the bookstore the other day, just because I haven't been on here to show ya. But I ended up getting Crime and Poetry by Amanda Flower. This is a cozy mystery series. This is the first book in the series. I've already read this, and so this is just adding it to my little library. But it is such a fun cozy mystery series. It's basically about this woman who goes back home because she thinks that her grandma is dying, basically. I laugh because she's not really dying. She just wanted her to come home. So she is there. Violet is the woman's name, and she realizes that her grandma's not actually sick, but she has ulterior motives. Someone gets murdered and she has to help her grandma get off the hook, basically. But it's also set at a magical bookstore. And when I say magical, it's not really like magic, it's just whimsical, where books just tend to find the right person, you know, that kind of whimsy. But it's just such a good, cute, cozy mystery series, and I just read the second one not that long ago, and I plan to read the third one pretty soon because I just love this series so much. The next book I got is The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie by Rachel Linden. The reason why I got this is because, one, I've seen this around and thought it looked really cute, but Kaitlin and I were talking about how we really want to find a millennial aged person who's writing like Debbie Maycomer. And then I picked this one up and I was looking and I was like, oh my gosh, Debbie Maycomer blurbed this. So that was kind of fun. But she said it's a heartfelt, heartwarming, joyful, and uplifting. You can't go wrong with a Rachel Linden book. And then, oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, if you saw my last vlog, you will know that I soft DNF'd The Singer by Calvin Miller because I knew I needed to read it with my eyes. But I found these books. So the song, look how awesome this book looks. Like, what? You know? And then the finale, which this one has a dragon on the front. And then I think it might be Jesus on the horse. I don't know, but it says, he comes in power, rejoice, the hour of Jubilee is near. Lift up the cry, before we die, our singer will appear. Yes, he will. So I need to find the singer. But I thought it was like a cool little God wink to me. That's what it felt like. Because these were written in the 70s. And what are the odds? You know, what are the actual odds that my half-price books would have these? Okay? So, thank you, Jesus. And then my last one that I got is Tea Room for Two by Susan Page Davis. This is a Christian cozy mystery series. It's the first book in the Tea Room mysteries. I'm so excited for this. I think basically it's following two cousins, and they purchase a lakeside Queen Anne style house in Maine, and following in their grandmother's footsteps, convert part of the house into a tea room. Expecting their new life to be quiet and uneventful, they're surprised to find themselves drawn into baffling mysteries. I cannot express how excited I am for this book. It was a lot of fun to hang out and be with her and just kind of be. But tonight I went to a Point of Grace concert. Okay, and if you know who Point of Grace is, if you're a Point of Grace person, you're my people. Okay? So, keep the candle burning. Have a good night. I finished Fear Has a Name, and wow, I just don't know if I've ever read a book like this. I know I haven't. The faith content was so good. I am amazed. I'm amazed. And it honestly, okay, I'm just being real with you. If Kaitlin hadn't have recommended this book to me, I probably would have never read it because it looks kind of like dude lit. It just doesn't draw me in, but I'm pleasantly surprised and so glad that I read it because, oh my goodness, it was so good. It made me think. The end, I really loved how the author wove everything together. He connected people in ways that I thought was really cool. I think I'm going to be thinking about this one for a while. I will say there is heavy content in this book. It never bogged me down. Like, there is a hopeful tone in it. I think because you're in the thoughts of Pamela and of Jack, I think is his name. Gosh. Character names and me never get along. I think it's because you're in their thoughts and they love the Lord, and so they're wrestling with like really hard things, but they're taking it to him. It felt hopeful. It felt like, okay, something's gonna happen where the Lord's gonna do something. I am gonna give content warnings. There's thoughts of suicide. There's plans for suicide, childhood abuse, and it's not depicted in the moment, but one of the characters is recalling their past traumas. It's sad and intense. There's no sexual abuse, but there's like the risk of it, like the thought of it possibly happening, if that makes sense. There's kidnapping, breaking in, like a house break-in at the very beginning, stalking, and all those things. It sounds very dark. And like I said, those are dark things in this book, but the hope in this book was so good. If you're a Christian and you like thrillers, I think you should try to read this book because the themes of God's redemption, his sovereignty, the way he forgives, the way he loves, and the way his mercy never ends was so clear in this book, and I just really appreciated it. I loved it. Thank you, Kaitlin, for this recommendation. I really want to continue on in this Creston Mapes Crittenden files. I've seen at least 3 on Goodreads, but there may be more. Who knows? I loved it. I think I'm giving it 5 stars. This vlog, we read, well, tried to read Garden Girls. I do think I'm going to be returning to this. This is such a weird book for me to think about because I was enjoying it, but I think just the content was too heavy for me in my mental state this week. It still intrigues me. So I may go back to it, I may not. I don't know. I think I also kind of want to, if I do read these books, I kind of want to start from the beginning because it's obvious that there's like backstory between these characters and they make mention of other cases and other things that have happened and gone on, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So not that you have to know to read this book, but it's kind of like an added bonus, if that makes sense, if you do know what's going on. So I just wish that I had known that before I picked it up on NetGalley. I did like the writing style. I liked the way the characters were written. They felt really real to me. Like they felt like real people, and I loved that. So that's that. And then this one, obviously, it was so good. I did take quite a few breaks because of the heavier content, but the story kept pulling me back. It's not the easiest book to read. Not in the sense of like writing style or anything, but I think in regards to you're in the mind of someone who's really struggling and really going through it on all sides. Everyone is struggling. Everyone is going through it. But the way that the Lord's sovereignty and like his goodness is weaved into this story was just phenomenal. It was just phenomenal. Okay? And I think that if you're not a Christian, this book might anger you. Yeah, it might make you angry because there were some times at the end, especially, I was like, what? Like, how could you make that decision? How could you do that? But guess what? It's because of the Lord. It's because he's made us new. We are new creations. The old is gone, the new has come. Both of these are gritty, so just know that going into it. But if it sounds like your cup of tea, I say give it a try. I pray that God's peace that passes all understanding will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. That you feel his peace over you and your mind today, right now, in this moment. And I pray that he would reveal himself to you in new ways. That you will see him around every corner. That you will know that he is God. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to hit that subscribe and the like and the notification, I would love it. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!